Greek mythology is probably our most recognized story bank in Western culture. That is why it's important to discuss it for students who are from other areas of the world where other cultures' mythologies are more dominant, such as Hindu or Buddhist cultures. The Greek version dominates Rome with some minor variations, as the Romans seem to have adopted Greek myths as opposed to the other way around. With Christianity arising primarily in Rome, perhaps the casting of Greek myth as the other group of myths helped to reestablish mythos as lies and logos as reason from Plato through the early church fathers. Egyptian myth arises alongside of Greek myth and is very unique, but there are many similarities. I would like to compare them in this presentation while not really going into whether Eros or Cupid should be preferred or if Zeus should prevail over the concept of Jupiter. Each of these mythologies casts primordial gods as self-created or born of the primordial soup, giving birth or giving way to titans, the basic forces of nature, and their offspring who usurp power from their parents, as Zeus did in deceiving his father Kronos. Each generation of gods becomes more emotionally human-like, which makes a lot of sense. There are many online charts comparing the more popular mythologies recognized in Western influence. Here is just one of them, including the Germanic Norse mythology too. It is fun to compare the gods and their stories to one another and looking for similarities and differences that are distinguishing. In each of these pantheons, you'll find a favorite, so spend as much time as possible reading the different myths from each. And there is no short number of recasting of these themes in modern film or literature. It is no accident that Campbell claims that the modern-day mythmaker is the artist. Whether it be in film or literature or myth-inspired video games, the dominance of Greece is obvious. Why do we not have Roman mythology stories dominating? Given the Christian roots of so much in the Western world, that's an interesting question. Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson is the latest of these, where you've got an old story occurring in the modern day New York. They include in just one film all the mythic creatures as well. These stories get newly recast for every generation and are fodder for storytelling inspiration. When it is not the story itself that is retold, it is the name that is adopted as a less obvious symbol of a mythic struggle. Even Norse mythology has become more prominent in the last 20 years with the rise of online streaming services, looking for a variation on the themes of humans as gods. There are many other examples that would be too long to relate and too boring to narrate, as it is more fun to get into the stories and characters than to listen to someone like me talk at length about them. Just ask my students. In the next presentation, we'll look at Egyptian mythology and see how it delves from the familiar script of the Greeks and Romans.